An Ohio police officer who went viral back in 2015 after dancing with children is now going viral in a video where he is punching an unarmed individual in the face. His name is Officer Anthony Johnson. Again, this is in Ohio, and police had responded to reports that there were gunshots in a particular neighborhood. It turned out that they were not gunshots, they were actually firecrackers. And the scene was chaotic. Unfortunately, it ended with unnecessary violence, and I'm about to show you the video that's going viral right now. It is a little graphic, so I want to give you that warning. Take a look.
So don't give nobody reason to be hurt. And I'm just wondering what's going on. They in the house, and they getting... Come on, daughter, get back over here. Get over here. Get back over there. Junior, get off closer. Junior, get off. Junior, get off closer. Junior, get off. Get away from my grandbaby. Get away from my grandbaby. Look what y'all doing to my grandbaby. Look at this, look.
So you already have a giant weapon on you. Really, what? Do you feel like you're in some sort of danger? No.
Why are people getting arrested? That's what I want to understand, right? Like, you guys show up, you realize that they weren't gunshots, they were firecrackers. By the way, they're using some sort of technology to determine whether there are gunshots in a given neighborhood, but that technology is obviously faulty if it mistakes firecrackers for gunshots. So you guys show up, and the cops are supposed to de-escalate the situation. Why did it get to the point where people are needlessly getting arrested? Why is the scene as chaotic as it is? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they went in and created a problem.
Yeah, and then you're punching someone, you're assaulting someone, and then you're arresting them for doing something that's not illegal. And I don't blame that guy for rushing up, right? I think, and to speak in a broader sense too, this whole dancing cop thing, it really is, I'm not pleased by it. I'll say it that way because I know we're not allowed to curse here. But I think it's a part of the broader sort of issue of propaganda, right? Like these videos of cops pulling people over and giving them ice creams or turkeys, right? Like, the idea of community policing actually is really another point of counterinsurgency, right? With the militarization of police. And we've learned that it's another way that's been learned in sort of exchange and tactics from militaries in occupied territories, is this idea that it's another way to extract information. If all the guy did was only ever have that giant assault rifle, right? People would rebel in a different way. But when you get to have things like this, that are actually legitimizing the police as things that they should never, first of all, that they were never designed to do, and that the resources are then continuing to go to the police to do things like be a therapist or be nice. Like, yes, it's better that we have nice police than not, but at the same time, the solutions that make communities safe, particularly poor communities of color, is not having more police or having police that can twerk better. It's having resources in those communities, right? And anything else is actually, I think, a distraction from that.
Right, having resources in those communities, and more importantly, when it comes to the issue of police brutality, having the resources directed toward better training. And not relying on faulty technology to figure out whether there are gunshots in a neighborhood. I mean, again, that was the whole reason why they were there. This tech said, hey, there might be gunshots here. They show up and they needlessly lead to this escalation that didn't need to happen. And one thing that I wanted to point out, if you watch the video closely, he sucker punches this guy in the face, right? He's unarmed. And then he has this huge smile on his face after he does it. And this is a cop who claims that he is in favor of community policing. This is a cop who says on his Instagram bio, I grew up hating the police, now I'm a police officer. I grew up in the same streets I now protect. But is it protecting someone unarmed, when you're sucker punching him in the face? I don't know why he was walking up to, the individual who appears to be getting arrested. But nonetheless, you're running up to him with this giant rifle, which is intimidating enough, and then you're just punching him in the face, no questions asked. It's so unnecessary.
So look, a little bit of context. The guy goes up because he thought that they were going to hurt his wife. And so, but as you saw in the video, he didn't bum rush any of the cops. He didn't make any contact. He didn't touch them. He didn't rush all the way into the house. He got to a certain space and then stopped. So now it's always in the training. So they tell them, hey, you have to command the area, but They don't teach de-escalation nearly enough. Now, sometimes a situation is totally out of control. And yes, of course, you raise your voice, you give clear commands. We understand the need to do that from time to time, right? But not every situation calls for, complete and utter force. So here's a guy who is, not doing exactly what they tell him. And then, of course, we get into the issue of the biggest crime in America, even though it's not in any law book, is disrespecting a police officer. So this guy decides, I'm gonna push you, then I'm gonna punch you. But after I punched you, now I have to arrest you. Otherwise, it looks like I did something wrong, right?
This is the body cam footage.
So, anybody have any doubt as to who the aggressor there is? Right? You can see the video. So he paused. The cop told him to stop, and he stopped. One of the cops goes like this, stop, and he stops. And then the guy pushes him and then punches him, and then goes, well, you had the temerity to get punched, so I'm gonna have to arrest you now. Otherwise, he's gonna get in trouble if he doesn't arrest him. So it's a double whammy. Another officer replied in the tape, "You did this to yourself." No, he didn't. We just saw the tape. You did it to him.
The Columbus Division of Police has responded to this by saying, while uses of force can appear shocking, the officer on preliminary review was protecting bystanders during a call for service where guns were fired. Again, guns were not fired, they were firecrackers. Full investigation to follow, be patient.
Look, I don't mind people being patient, of course. So I'm not saying that the guy needs to be fired immediately. Maybe there's other tape, you do the investigation, find out. But we've seen these investigations, we've seen them 1,000 times. And 999 out of 1,000 times they say, well, lo and behold, our fellow cop did everything wonderfully, and that guy did it to himself by getting punched like that. By he might have hurt the officer's fist like that. So look, I don't mind the dancing as much as you guys do, and I think it's some sort of effort. I don't know if it's a trick. I don't know if it's propaganda, but I mind the punching after the dancing. So there should be some action taken if the tape. If the other tapes back up what we just saw with our own eyes. Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.